Emmanuel means God with us. We look to God for everything that we do, and we try to make sure that God is incorporated not only within our church, but within our lives and what we do outside the church. Our tradition has grown into a very diverse group, and we have lots of different disagreements and different ideas, but we come together around the altar. We come together around that table that unites us. And that is one of the strengths of this church, is that it is very accepting. There's lots of people with all kinds of different ideas.
We learn so much more when we disagree than when we all have...
Gary and I are really smart on that.
When we all see the world in the same way.
We're kind of setting our own guidelines and just making it fun, rather than old and having to do everything by tradition. We're kind of making up some new traditions.
It doesn't matter if you stand and raise your hands, or if you stand and bow your heads, or if you want to genuflect, or if you don't. It's the way you worship. You're here to worship, it doesn't matter how.
We are encouraged not to leave our brain at the door, to make decisions, Christian decisions, based on the three-legged stool of the Episcopal Church: reason, scripture, and tradition.
And there's a lot of acceptance for differences, and there's a lot of celebration in the fact that all of that is part of this creation, and that it is the differences that make it wonderful. It's not that we're all the same and that we see the world eye to eye with one another.
The party line is the love that we have for each other and the love that we have for God.
It's the oldest church structure in Rapid City. It's been here since 1889, I believe, shortly after the gold rush started in Rapid City, and it has been a presence ever since that time. So it's got a really strong, rich history. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was here when he was president. Our liturgy comes down from the Church of England, which was highly influenced by the Celtic Church, and it's literally the liturgy means the work of the people. And so we see our worship and our liturgy as an outgrowth of the people and our work. And we are a Eucharistic church. We celebrate the gifts of the bread and the wine, which Jesus talked about and which Paul talks about, and share that with one another. We see a real power in the Eucharist, and so we celebrate it on every Sunday. We have a wonderful choir that we're just so excited because they're outgrowing their space. They have more people than can actually fit in the space that we have.
It's acknowledged by most musicians in the country that the Episcopal Church is where the music is. I like the fact that we have a structured liturgy, that you can be free within that structure. It gives you a box to play in, so to speak, that you can communicate with your God within the structure of that liturgy.
We have a Sunday school which has been recrafted and is starting to get new kids and lots of kids into church.
I like bringing my kids here because I know that they'll be treated well. They'll be taken care of if they're in the nursery, if they're going to Sunday school.
We've got the Altar Guild, which does all of the work in the altar. There's the ECW, the Episcopal Church Women, that does so much for our organization. I'm incredibly excited about this church, about the opportunities that it is generating, not only of this church, but of this entire community.
What Emmanuel has given to me is a feeling of community, a feeling of what Christ meant the way for us to live, loving and serving each other.
I think Emmanuel has something for everyone, no matter what stage in your life you're at.
It's very much about my head and my heart connected and being an Episcopalian.
This is my family, and this is where I meet people and form relationships. It's like sustenance and it's nurturing.
Because it's the relationships, it's the the bond that has grown between these people. And a big part of that bond is our relationship with God and with Jesus Christ.
Bless you.